My name is Mrs. Austin, and I'm of mixed settler ancestry. On my mother's side, I'm from the Inklikupnak Nation and Scottish, and on my father's side, I'm from the Syilx Nation and Irish.
My name is Justina Di Stasio. I am one of the Indigenous resource teachers in the Burnaby School District, and I am recently retired as a member of Team Canada for Women's Freestyle Wrestling. I wrestled there for 15 years, and I'm a proud member of Norway House Cree Nation on my mom's side and of Italian descent on my dad's side.
June is National Indigenous Peoples Month in Canada, a time where we celebrate and learn the rich cultures, traditions, and achievements of First Nations, Inuit, and Métis people. It's a time to honor the important contributions Indigenous communities make to our shared society. The Truth and Reconciliation Commission calls to action 87 to 91 focus on ensuring greater Indigenous inclusion, recognition, and leadership in Canadian sport. They say that Indigenous kids and communities should have more chances to play sports and traditional games. They also ask that Indigenous voices be included and when making decisions about sports. These ideas help make sure everyone feels welcome, included, and respected. Today I'm pleased to welcome Justina Di Stasio, a proud member of the Norway House Cree Nation and a decorated Canadian wrestler who has represented our country with incredible distinction. Justina began wrestling around age 12 and went on to win multiple national and international titles. She earned gold in her weight division at the 2018 World Wrestling Championships and claimed a bronze in 2017. At the Pan American Games, she won silver in 2015 and gold in 2019. She dominated the Pan American Championships, winning 3 straight golds in 2015 to 2017, another gold in 2020, and bronzes in 2022 and 2023. She also captured gold at the 2022 Commonwealth Games in her weight division. Am I making you uncomfortable yet?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Justina qualified for and competed in the 2024 Paris Olympics, finishing 12th in her weight division, achieving a long-held Olympic dream. In 2024, she was named iSpark Female Athlete of the Year by the Indigenous Sport, Physical Activity, and Recreation Council, recognizing her outstanding commitment and performance. She also won the 2024 Tom Longboat Award for Female Athlete of the Year, which goes to the best Indigenous athlete in the country. Okay, so Justina has recently retired after nearly 15 years of competition, but her story of resilience, cultural pride, and excellence remains a shining example. We're honored to have her with us today to share insights into her journey as both an athlete and an Indigenous role model. Okay.
Well, thanks. That was so sweet. Okay, I started wrestling when I was 12, like you said, at Banting Middle School in Coquitlam. I was really lucky where my locker was. There was a little window into the wrestling room, so that's how I saw what it was. And I thought it was gymnastics at first, so I joined it because the warm-ups looked really fun. And then on the first day of practices, they made a weight line, and all my friends were little grade 6 girls, and I was the size of an 8th grade girl, so I went to the other end of the room, and I was immediately intimidated by the sport. So physical, but very fun still. I did it in grade 6, I did it in grade 8, and then in grade 9, I started to get more competitive with it. I had a really good high school coach. His name's Selwyn Tam. Everyone should know his name. He changed my life. He got to know my family really well. He signed me up for so many camps and tournaments all throughout BC. He allowed me to play every other sport I wanted to play, because at the time I thought I was going to be a soccer star. It did not work out. I really valued his opinion, even from a young age, clearly, because he said I could be good at wrestling, and even though I didn't love the sport, I I liked being good at things. So I stuck with wrestling, and the first 2 years I got second at BC's, and the third year I finally won provincials. And that was like the first big thing I'd ever won, was the BC High School Championships in grade 11. And then in grade 12, I broke my foot. I didn't play any sports really. And that's kind of when you want to start performing well to get a scholarship. I didn't get any scholarships for just wrestling. I got one scholarship offer to go to the University of Regina for wrestling and soccer, but both Mr. Tam and my dad and my mom all said, you've played this many sports your whole life. If you want to be really good at something, you have to pick one thing at this point, because I was about to be 18, and I picked wrestling. Mr. Tam emailed the coach at Simon Fraser University, and I walked onto the wrestling team. And I was really lucky that Norway House Cree Nation, they offer full ride scholarships if you pass a test. It's not just handed out to everybody. I had to take a lot of tests and apply with a bunch of other applicants. They only pick a few. And I was able to receive a scholarship for university. So I had no money coming from wrestling. So my university coach says that I'm the cheapest success story he's ever had.
That's awesome.
And yeah, I walked onto the wrestling team. Had no idea what I was getting into. I traveled throughout the United States with the SFU team, because SFU is one of the only NCAA schools in Canada. So we competed up and down the west coast of the United States, which was really good for me because I wasn't great at wrestling yet, and I got beat up a lot, but that's okay. I learned a lot, and I ended up making Team Canada that first year at the end of the year, and came out of the gold medal match, go into the back. I thought, I want a singlet, see wrestling in September, I got a break. I came out of the back room and was crying to my parents about how I had to wrestle all summer long because it was so hard and I wanted a break. But I found out that I'd made the national team, and I had to go to the World Championships. Now I look at it as like I got to go to the World Championships, but at the time, because I still didn't love it, it was still, it required discipline and commitment and sacrifice that I wasn't ready to give yet. And then I went to the first World Championships and I placed 8th for junior, so that's under 20. And I was sitting in the stands, and I remember the exact moment I fell in love with the sport, because the idea that representation matters. I saw a girl who looked like me. She had long brown hair and broad shoulders and small legs. And in wrestling, you want big, strong legs and a smaller upper body, because this is where your strength comes from. And I saw her win the World Championships, and I was like, oh my gosh, maybe I can be awesome at this, because I saw someone who looked like me doing it. That was 2011, and then in 2018 I finally won the World Championships. So that was like, it was just something in the back of my mind, maybe I could be a world champion someday. It took a long time, and then once you start succeeding there, I was like, okay, maybe I can be an Olympian someday. And my Olympic journey took a long time. That's the moral of my story: resilience. Good things take time. I went to the Olympic trials in 2016, I got second place. I went to Olympic trials in 2020, I got second place. And finally, for 2024, I made the Olympic team. The biggest difference for me from when I was younger to when I was older was just the focus on mental health and approaching my sport with a positive attitude, believing in myself that I could do it, and if it didn't work out, I was still good enough regardless of what wrestling could give me. And yeah, I got to go to the Olympics last summer, and it was pretty awesome. I wish I did better, but I trained my absolute hardest so that whatever happened, I wouldn't regret anything. You can be disappointed, and that makes sense when you don't achieve a goal, but I never wanted to have the feeling of regret. And I was really glad we worked so hard, because I did not have any regrets. And now I'm here. Now I'm an Indigenous resource teacher in my first year teaching, and I'm really grateful. I was always nervous when I was wrestling that I would never love anything as much as I love wrestling, and I really love this job. So it's been a perfect transition. Mm-hmm.
Okay, awesome. That's quite the journey you've had.
Thank you.
Like many on the team, we all come from different areas of the country, and across Turtle Island, North America. What does it mean for you being connected to your Indigenous nation?
Yeah. So I'm a member of Norway House Cree Nation. That's like in northern Manitoba, like 8 hours north of Winnipeg. I always felt really supported since like the beginning of my wrestling career at university, because I saw the hardships some of my teammates were going through trying to balance wrestling and school and paying for school. And they took that entire like financial strain off me and my family, which at the time when you're 17 going to college, you don't know the difference that's making. But I look back and I'm like, even though they were supporting me in school, they were definitely supporting me in wrestling. And it gave me, when you have less things to worry about, you have more focus to put into one thing. So that was awesome. Every member of my family, both Italian and Indigenous, has always told me how proud they were of me regardless of the result, which is what you need to hear when you feel like you failed. And then just for the Olympics, Norway House really stepped up and helped me a lot, like emotional support wise and financial support wise, which as a athlete in a non-mainstream sport, you're not making very much money. So it was very, I don't even know how to describe the difference it made. It really helped a lot. Yeah.
Awesome. Was there a special moment where you felt proud to be Indigenous? You kind of touched on it a little bit, seeing another athlete break representation.
Yeah. Well, that was the first time I ever saw it. She wasn't Indigenous, but she was a female in a combative sport who looked like me. And that was one of the reasons why now, as an older athlete or as a retired athlete, I think it's so important to speak up and share my story, because maybe a female youth or an Indigenous youth or a kid who's doubting themselves will see it and hear it and be like, I can do it too. So I think that's really important. But I definitely felt really proud to be an Indigenous athlete going to the Olympics. I was the first one to be named to Team Canada, so it was a lot of pressure. And then as there were 5 Indigenous Olympians at the Olympics last summer, and as each of them got named to Team Canada, I just felt like I'd never met them, but I felt this like just sense of pride that there were more of us going. So that was pretty cool.
What advice would you give to young students who want to follow their dreams?
What advice would I give? You have to find something that brings you joy. Like at the base of it all, wrestling, when it got really difficult or when it got really challenging, I would be like, this isn't fun right now, so how am I gonna make it fun again? And that doesn't mean it's not hard work or discipline or anything like that. Like being an Olympian is hard. And everyone gets to see like, happy, I went to the Olympics, like all the positive stuff, but behind the scenes, it's hard work. So you need your group of people who will pick you up when it's really hard and you don't want to do it, but you need that group of people needs to know that the reason you're doing this is because it's fun. Like find the joy in it, little pieces. Like I made myself enjoy lifting, I made myself enjoy cardio, I made myself enjoy like boring technique sessions. Like I had to make everything fun. So for me, that was it. It sounds so simple. It's hard to keep things fun when there's a lot of pressure. But if there's a way that you can find that and that the people who are supporting you can understand that if this is fun, I will give it my all, I think that was a really important part for me. So it'd be important for kids too.
Sure. Mm-hmm. So Justina, how do you learn more about your culture and who you are?
I've been learning more about my culture like through this work. It's forced me to look inwards and like figure out where I come from. And I've been leaning a lot on my family. So I ask my mom questions. I ask my aunties questions. And just my mom actually found this book that like goes back just generations of like a family tree almost. So just kind of looking through that and seeing like how the Arthursons came to be, how I became like who I am, and just the family lineage has been cool to see. And then, so that's for the Indigenous side. The Italian side, I grew up around my grandparents, so I feel like you would just hear it growing up, which I guess both cultures, oral storytelling, very important.
Okay, thank you. What do you love most about being a wrestler?
What do I love most about being a wrestler? I'm biased. I think wrestling's the best sport in the world. I love how gritty it is. I love how challenging it is. I think it's like the purest form of competition. It's two people, and like, yeah, you have your team, you have your coach, you have your training partners, but I need to be better than her, and I need to use every tool that I have, like staying focused, using all my strength, using all my conditioning to try and beat this other person. And I just love the chance to get to do that. And I didn't always win, but I always love that you could go out there and just compete and try your best.
So I think like many of our students, sports is very competitive. I think many of our students are competitive. How do you handle when you don't reach the goals that you hope to reach?
Later in my career, I heard the term failing forward from a sports psych. And like some people like to say, I never fail, I just learn. Like that's nice to think of, but like, yeah, I have failed. Like there've been times where I've worked really, really hard and it didn't work out. But the failures weren't really setbacks because I was always learning something. So the idea of failing forward really resonated with me because I might have failed in this moment, but what did I learn along the way, and what can I take with me into the next big goal that I have that hopefully this painful moment is going to shape me and help build me into a successful moment in the future. One thing that I do actually try and share with kids, and I might have said it already, but like, when things are hard, that doesn't mean you're doing something wrong, or that doesn't mean you're failing. When things are hard and the person next to you is understanding it or learning or competing better than you, that doesn't mean you're never going to get there. I found wrestling very hard, but I knew I was very good. So the idea of being good at something and assuming that it's easy, everyone doing things that impress someone else, it's hard to be good at things, and it's okay for things to be hard. So don't let something being challenging scare you away from trying to be an expert at it. That's for everything academic, that's for everything like social, emotional. If it's like just like controlling your temper in spaces, like I found I had to learn how to do that with wrestling. It's your temper gets up, right? If it's athletics, like I found that I learned that lesson through sport, but it's helped me everywhere else to not judge where I'm at when I'm learning something new or when I'm learning slower than people around me, just to understand that once I get there, I'm going to be pretty good if I take the time to learn it properly.
All right. Thank you for sharing today, and
You're
all the
welcome.
best in your future.
Thank you, Miss Austin.
Okay, now do one clap. There you go. That's the one.
Okay, testing, 1, 2, 3.
Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do.
And as long as we don't stop, we don't have to clap again.
Wait,
So if we stop anything.
you really have a clap?
Yeah.
I thought we were just joking around.
No.
The